In this video, we'll talk about how to use sum to product formulas in trigonometry. So I've written out the four sum to product formulas that we have. And basically, these formulas allow us to, as the name implies, write a sum in the form of a product. So if we have, for example, the sine of x plus the sine of y, we can write that as 2 times the sine of x plus y over 2 times the cosine of x minus y over 2. So we have these four different formulas that we can use depending on whether we're adding or subtracting specific functions. So let's work through a few examples. Let's say we want to write sine of 7x plus sine of 3x as a product. So it looks like we can use this first formula right here, the sine of x plus sine of y. So let's go ahead and fill that in. So we get 2 times the sine of x plus y. So x, that's going to be this first term, this 7x, plus y. So y will be this second value of 3x. So 7x plus 3x over 2. And then we have times the cosine of x minus y. So we'll have 7x minus 3x. And that's over 2. So now we just need to simplify. We get 2 times the sine of 7x plus 3x, that's 10x. So 10x over 2 times cosine of 7x minus 3x, that's 4x. So 4x over 2. And then lastly, to simplify, we can say 2 times the sine of 10 divided by 2, that's just 5. So we'll say 5x. And 4 divided by 2, that just becomes 2. So the cosine of 2x. So that will be our final answer. That's how we can write sine of 7x plus sine of 3x in the form of a product. All right, let's try another example. Let's say we have the cosine of 4x minus the cosine of 6x. How can we write that as a product? So it looks like we'll be using our last formula down here, which involves the cosine of some value minus the cosine of another value. So let's fill in what we know. We have negative 2 sine x plus y. So x will be the 4x plus y. Y will be this 6x. So we'll say 4x plus 6x over 2. And then that will be multiplied by the sine of x minus y. So 4x minus 6x over 2. So we can simplify a bit, and we get negative 2 times the sine of 4x plus 6x, that's 10x, over 2, times the sine of 4x minus 6x, that's negative 2x, over 2. So we can simplify further, and we get negative 2 times the sine of 10 divided by 2, that's just 5, so that's 5x, times the sine of negative 2 divided by 2, that's negative 1, or negative x. Now there's one more way that we can simplify this. If you'll recall, the sine of negative x, this is, in trigonometry, we call this one of our odd identities, because we can write this as negative sine of x. So this sine of negative x, we can actually rewrite that as negative sine of x. So notice that we have a negative out front here, and then we're also multiplying it by this negative sine of x. So a negative times a negative, that becomes positive. So this whole expression just becomes a positive 2 sine of 5x times sine of x. And that's our final answer. All right, let's try one last example. Let's say we have the sine of 2x minus the sine of 7x. How can we write that as a product? So it looks like we'll be using this second formula right here. So let's fill in what we know. We have 2 times the cosine of x plus y. So x will be this 2x. Y will be this 7x. So we have 2x plus 7x over 2 times the sine of x minus y. So 2x minus 7x over 2. So we can simplify a bit, and we'll write 2 times the cosine of 2x plus 7x, that's 9x, over 2, times the sine of 2x minus 7x is negative 5x over 2. And remember that we said sine of negative x. This is one of our odd identities in trigonometry. So that can be rewritten as negative sine of positive x. So if we do that, this whole thing can be written as negative sine of positive, we'll say 5/2 x. So if we'd like, we can pull this negative sign out front. So we'll write our final answer as negative 2 cosine 9/2 x times sine of 5/2 x. And that will be our final answer.